I'm Jacob Dean, in for Thom Hartmann, here on the news. You need to know this. A 32-year-old Iraqi mother of 5 children living in California died over the weekend after she was brutally beaten in what authorities are investigating as a hate crime. Fatima al-Hamidi was found unconscious, lying in a puddle of her own blood last Wednesday with a note near her reading, "Go back to your country, you terrorist." Authorities believe Fatima was beaten with a tire iron. On Saturday, she was taken off life support. This should be a wake-up call to all of us. More than a decade of never-ending war combined with an ongoing fear campaign started by Bush and Cheney has caused our nation to go unhinged. Meanwhile, Fox so-called news pumps up every little thing they can to make people afraid of Muslims, afraid of African Americans, and afraid of President Obama, who is African American and who way too many Fox viewers think may be a Muslim. Hate crimes like this and Trayvon Martin are the tragic consequences of drumbeat of fear. In Screwed News, today kicks off 3 straight days of oral arguments before the Supreme Court over the constitutionality of Obamacare. If the court ends up siding with the right-wing state attorneys general who are in the pockets of for-profit health insurance industry, then 50 million Americans will lose access to health care. Not to mention the 17 million children that will be denied insurance coverage because of pre-existing conditions, and more than 100 million Americans will have to live in fear that their insurance company will cap them just when they need a life-saving procedure. While Obamacare wasn't perfect and our nation should eventually adopt a single-payer system that makes healthcare a basic human right, just like the rest of the developed world, the law was at least a start. So now all eyes are on the Supreme Court and whether 5 unelected right-wing judges will put politics and corporate profits above the health of the nation. In the best of the rest of the news, Wall Street has picked their political party. According to an analysis by the Center for Responsive Politics, Wall Street has spent $33 million so far in the 2012 presidential contest, and the banksters have given 92% of all of that cash to Republicans. That's more than $30 million. Democrats, on the other hand, have only received $2.5 million. And within the Republican Party, Wall Street has picked their guy, Mitt Romney. In fact, multimillionaire Mitt Romney has gotten 72% of all of the money Wall Street has dropped so far into the election. With a campaign treasure chest like that, funded by America's banksters, Romney doesn't feel too bad about a weekend loss to Rick Santorum in the Louisiana primary. Romney is winning what really counts, not the delegates, but the number of millionaires and billionaires in his corner. Congress wants to take a closer look at Florida's Shoot First law now that the law is preventing George Zimmerman from being arrested for murder. In a letter to the Justice Department, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York called on the DOJ to investigate the Florida law to find out if it's leading to more deaths and preventing law enforcement from carrying out proper investigations. Since the so-called Stand Your Ground law went into effect in Florida back in 2005, the number of so-called justifiable homicides in that state increased by almost 300%. But if Congress wants to do something about these laws, they'll have to take on the very powerful NRA and Walmart lobbies that wrote the law in the first place through ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, to sell more guns, protect themselves from future lawsuits when their guns are used to kill people like Trayvon Martin. The head of finance in the United Kingdom doesn't want to be outdone by Congressman Paul Ryan here in the United States. Chancellor George Osborne unveiled a new budget for the UK that cuts the top income tax rate for Britain's 300,000 wealthiest citizens and pays for it by reducing their equivalent of Social Security payments for more than 4.4 million senior citizens in the UK. Osborne plans to help pay for the massive tax cut for the rich with a £10 billion cut to welfare. And finally, Republicans claim they're best friends forever to big business. So why are they ignoring business economists? According to a new survey by the National Association of Business Economists, the vast majority of economists say we must raise taxes on the wealthy. In fact, 87% of economists said that raising taxes has to be part of any plan to reduce the deficit. And about half of the respondents support the Buffett rule, requiring millionaires and billionaires to pay at least the same rate as middle-class families. On top of that, 2/3 of business economists supported more regulation on Wall Street, like the Volcker rule. And that's the way it is today, Monday, March 26th, 2012. I'm Jacob Dean, in for Thom Hartmann on the news.